I broke it down into individual pieces, and I've got it all on my manila paper here. And so what we're going to do with this is I'm going to basically go from one piece to the next piece, and then by the time it's all done, we're going to have like this mini steampunk little thing right here in my workshop. It's going to be really freaking awesome, right? And the first thing we're going to build is an engine. So let's get right into it here. And pretty much everything that I'm going to do in this is going to be pretty simple, but it would help if you have a voxel board, particular type construction. Having a voxel board is really going to help with this. Primarily this board right here, not the older one. This is like Gen 1 here, and I'm not sure what gen this is. This is like a 3 or 4 and pretty much above. Okay. Yes, I know. I saw some of that in the last video they put out, and I'm really hoping we do get that. Being able to stretch something, you know, that would be really cool. But back to this here. I'm getting all sidetracked right now. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually create a steampunk engine first. And the first thing you're going to need is a tinker's workshop. And you'll kind of understand where I'm coming from this as I build this thing. And this is something that I was kind of playing around with, and I honestly think this is the best starting point for this. Take this tinker's workshop and flip it all the way upside down, and just like this, kind of play with it until you get it as even as possible, like so. That way it's even with the bottom of the floor. We're going to take this and we're going to bring it up out of the ground till you get about somewhere around in here. Something like that. Something really similar to this. The bottom is going to be sticking down into the ground just slightly. You can kind of play with it a little bit and kind of get it to where you want to on this. And we're going to go ahead and hit check. But this is going to be the starting point for our build. The next thing, we're going to grab a section of the ground and we're going to make it 8 by 8 by 13. So let me resize this here. I think my one side's just a little bit off. 8 by 8 by 13. There's my 13. I just got to get my positioning right here. I'm going to push this side in and push this side in. There we go. So we got our main base here almost done. I'm going to take this and bring it up to right there. The next thing I want to do is slide this in just a little bit more till we're about there, about halfway through this back little section that kind of sticks out, like so. And we're going to take, and let me grab just regular stone, and we can fill this in with something later on. But this is kind of our starting point for this build. And as you can see, we've already got some pretty cool looking stuff kind of sticking up out of the stone already. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to build the engine body. And for that, I selected the second one down on my circle stack here. And this one right here, this top one is a 6. This one right here is an 8, or an 8 voxel wide diameter, like so. Let's push this out. I'm going to do a copy of this. I'm going to bring this over. And like I said, you're going to need one of these voxel boards like this. This is one of the most common, and trust me, later on you'll kind of understand why I need this because there is a shape on it that is almost indispensable for this particular build. But I'm going to bring this circle right here where the first little legs are. I'm going to bring this up to where it's meeting pretty much like this. And you've got like these little leg pieces that are sticking on this outside face of that that voxel. It doesn't matter if you paste with or with air. It's not going to really matter at this point. So there we go. That's our starting point for the engine body. And let's go ahead and stack this, and we're going to stack this 12 times. I do believe it was 12 times. If it's not, then let's see where we're at. There's 13. So I went off one more, so let me back up to right there. There we go. So now we have our 12 stack cylinder going on here. The next thing we want is we're going to fill in the inside of each end of this cylinder. If anybody has any questions about what I'm doing, I will answer them pretty close to the end, and we'll kind of go from there. Kind of focused on actually getting this kind of set up, so please bear with me. But we're going to fill this in on both ends, pretty much all the way through, like so. So now we have the actual engine body for this. Let's grab here, drag it around, and I'm going to pull this down all the way down to 8 by 8. Should be 8 voxels by 8 voxels, so we select that whole entire face. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab one of my irons, which is, this is our forged dark metal. I'm going to paint this with it. Let's get back over there, like so. And that's going to be the next little section we have. Now, this is pretty much where this board comes into play. I needed a circle that was smaller than my 6, which is up here at the very top, and this board actually has one, and that is right here. This is the circle that I'm going to be using for my board, and this is a very tiny circle here, which is a 4x4. So I'm doing a Control C to copy. Now let's go back over here to our engine, Control V to paste, and I'm going to line this up right in the center of the existing one, like so. And I'm going to paste it right there, and I'm going to do it on this side as well. So we have one of those circles on both ends. The next little piece off this board we're going to use is this right here. It's like a partial circle, as you can kind of see here, but I need 2 voxels depth of this small little pillar type shape, and this is a 2x2. So we're going to select a 2x2x2 out of it, Control C to copy. Control V to paste, and you can tell it's over on its side, so let's hit our tilde, and we're going to rotate it on green, hit tilde again, and let's just maneuver this right into that hole. We're going to click, so we have like this little nub sticking out, and I'm going to do this on both sides. And as you can tell, when I pasted it in there, it pulled that circle down onto that cylinder that I dropped inside of it. So we've got this nice looking, almost like a battery look to it. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to paint just the nub the same as my body of my engine, and I'm going to do that on both ends, like so. Let's go into our metals here again, and I'm going to come down here to shiny metal, which is going to be my next little color I'm adding. And I'm going to paint this 4 diameter with that shiny metal, and we're going to do that on both ends. Like so. So now we have, you know, the greater majority of our little thing kind of set up here now. Right here at the very bottom, I'm going to actually put a surrounding little piece that actually comes out 1 voxel all the way around this thing. Let me get this all kind of lined up. You can see this portion is kind of sticking out, so we might have to go out 1 more voxel, something like that, to give it a base. And let's go in with the stone 1 more time there. And don't worry about these lights that are sticking out. It'll kind of blend in as we go along with this. The next thing we're going to do here, I'm going to go back to my 8x8 circle, and I'm going to grab 1/2 of it. So I'm literally 8 voxels wide, and by 4 voxels, Control C to copy. Let's come back over here, and I'm going to paste this right here in this little space. Control V to paste, tilde, tab, rotate until we get it vertical, tilde again, and we're going to stick that right there at that little point. And as you can tell, it matches perfect with our little lines on both sides there. Now I'm going to fill this in as well, just like I did with the top portion, and let's go ahead and fill this up. Like so. And let's go ahead and select that whole section, and we're going to turn this into metal as well. So let's grab this forged dark metal. We're going to paint that. Now, the coolest thing about this particular build and what we're using here, it's got a lot of moving parts to it. So let's take our delete tool, and I want to come right here, and I'm going to slowly go backwards into the inside of this thing, and you can see like the little parts that are moving, and this really gives it this really cool effect, like it's got moving parts on the inside of the engine as well. And I'm going to go back pretty far with this. How far back is kind of up to you. We're going to go back quite a bit there. Let's see how far I went back here. Let me grab this and pull it back here. So we literally went 8 voxels deep into this. But you can see like the moving parts back there. They're kind of like jiggling around and whatnot. And you got this light that kind of bumps up and down every once in a while, but that little arm that's kind of sticking up every once in a while is really cool. Now, this is pretty much the basic part of this. Now, I want to do one more thing. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to copy one of my nubs that I have sticking out. This one looks best, so let's grab that, Control C to copy, and let's go up to the top of our engine, Control V to paste, let's tilde, and let's rotate this over onto the side, hit tilde again, and let's get this thing halfway lined up on one end. We're going to stick that right there on the top, and I want to turn this into obsidian. So let's grab some obsidian that I have laying around here somewhere. There we go. We'll grab that, and we're going to paint this black. So we have like a little little access point for something, right? Now, there we go. We have like a little basic engine pretty much, but we still need to kind of spice this up a little bit more. So let's grab pretty much every other voxel here starting at this point. We're going to drag it down and pull it out 1 more. And I'm going to go back to my metal, click that, and we're going to alternate, skip, and put down the next little section. And we're going to do this over and over again until we hit pretty close to the other end. This, we could use these as like cooling vents or something like that for the engine. And I'm going to take this, after I've got them all down, I'm going to press my control key so I can grab the back face of this selection, and I'm going to push this all the way down. Control C to copy. Let's go around to the other side. Control V to paste. Tab to red. Hit V to mirror. And we're going to place this right in the same location on this side. Just like so. So now we've got smoke coming out of our engine. We've got moving parts all over the engine. And I mean, all these little wires and stuff like that are all moving around and stuff. So there is our first little piece of our little steampunk creation, and there we go. We have a motor.